Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode number 47 of the Billy Rickman Show podcast. And today I'm just going to share a cool little story with you and try to figure out how much it affects us in our daily operations and our success. Tune in. This is episode number 47. Being in business over the past few years has become increasingly demanding. As a business owner, it's getting harder to know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. The constant changes and updates in business can make you feel overwhelmed. So the question is, how do you stay ahead of the game, stay motivated, and create a business that doesn't just keep the doors open, but achieves serious profit? This podcast will answer that question. I'm Billy Rickman, and this is Success Sessions. Hey, so what's up, everybody, and welcome to episode number 47. It's Thursday morning here, and hasn't been a pretty bad start to the day. First time this morning, went for a walk and had to have my jacket on, so it's getting a little bit cold. But it's still, as you can see behind me, it's if you're watching this on YouTube, it's a pretty sunny day today. So I'm pretty pumped for a big day, end of week. And so yesterday, as I said on episode 46, I gave you guys an update on the keto and my YouTube challenge. So quick plug for this. If you haven't joined me on YouTube yet, join me on YouTube, subscribe to Billy Rickman. And I'm also running a competition on Facebook. So head on over to Facebook as well, where I'm running a competition for 2 tickets to my Sale and Growth seminars. That's coming up really, really soon. So I'm pretty excited about that. But I wanted to share a message with you guys today. It's been something I've been thinking a little bit about. And it's, I forget what episode it was, but maybe like 10 episodes ago, I spoke about, should everybody be an entrepreneur, right? And is it innately in us to become an entrepreneur, or is it something that anybody can learn? And ultimately, the 2 points I kind of surmised in that episode, and what I spoke about in that episode, is that an entrepreneur has to have 2 things, right? They have to have the ability to take massive action all the time, and also they have to have the ability to be able to deal with pressure on a consistent basis. Like, not just, it's been a stressful day, but like, how can you handle pressure for 9 months? How can you handle pressure for 12 months? How can you handle situations where you're not making any money and everyone else around you is? And like, how do you push through that? And for some people, like, they just can't. For some people, it's like that, they get to that point where other people are making money, like friends are making money, or employees are making money, or you just don't have any, you can't do anything with your life because you're so time poor. And for some people, it's like, I don't want to do this anymore, and so business is shut down because of that. But if you really want to be a business owner, you have to have the ability to be able to push through that. So they were the 2 things I discussed in that episode, but I want to kind of go on with this a little bit more and try to understand where entrepreneurship is established. And the reason for this, I'm going to tell you 2 cool stories. The first one is about this kid. Like, his name's Caleb Maddox, right? If you don't know Caleb, look him up. He's 16 now, but he really came onto the scene probably about 3 years ago when he was 13. And he's a motivational speaker, right? Believe it or not, he's a motivational speaker. And he helps kids become millionaires. And he's really, really cool. And if you listen to him, he's kind of like, anyone who knows Gary Vee or any people in that sort of space, like that motivational speaker space, he's kind of like that. And and that's how he sounds, and it's really weird when those words come out of a kid's mouth, and it's like, but he makes a lot of sense, and he's really cool, and he makes a good living doing it, and I don't know, so have a look at Caleb Maddox. But one of the interesting things that Caleb's dad used to do, and his dad is a massive influence in his life, and not in a bad parent way where it's, the parents putting too much pressure on their kids, but really in a supportive way, and just helps to keep his kid checked and ground him, but also give him good parenting skill, not good parenting skills, but give him good parenting advice, and how to be a better person, and how to achieve, and how to be successful, and how to be in control of your own destiny. So his dad's a big part of what he does, but Caleb is the messenger, right? And so interestingly, when Caleb was a kid, his dad used to reward him financially for reading business books and like personal development books and self-growth books, right? And so I was watching a Russell Brunson live the other day, or his Insta story, sorry, and he was saying it's something now he's started to do with his kids as his kids getting older, and so his kids now are if there's a small book they get like $20, if it's a medium book they get $40, if it's a big book they get like $60, right? And when they complete this book, and his kids figured out now that if he reads like 10 books all at once and doesn't finish them, but like leaves one chapter or leaves a couple of pages at the end on all 10 books, then essentially he can get a big payday from that. Like he can turn around to his dad and go, yeah, I just finished 10 books. That'll be $600, Dad. Thanks very much. And so he gets this big payday, right? Which is really super cool. And so I was thinking about that, and I was like thinking about it in my own life. I was like, is that something that's created? Like, is that parenting style embedding something in the child and developing the skill, or causing that spark of creativity to want to become an entrepreneur, right? Or is it something that is already there? And the second story I want to share with you is the opposite of that. And so one day I was we just opened one of our skin clinics in WA, in Western Australia, and it's not like I wouldn't say it's an affluent area in where this particular clinic is. And one morning I had to take this business phone call, and I was sitting outside the shop on the bench, because all our clinics are in shopping centres, and I was sitting on a bench just outside the shop in the middle of the mall, and it must be an early. I think we were doing the shop fit at the time, like, so it was super early. It was like, because we were doing building and that, and it would have been about 7:30, 8 o'clock or something. And where our store is, that's right next door to a Kmart. For those of you who are overseas, well, I think everyone knows what Kmart is. Maybe not. It's like it's like a budget department store, if you want to look at it that way. So yeah, I was sitting on this bench and I had to take this phone call, and I was sitting on the phone, and then I finished the phone call and I was just messaging or following up on an email or something. So I was sitting there, and then this bunch of kids turns up, right? There was about 5 of them, and they were probably around about 9 or 10, all boys, and they were dressed pretty scruffy, and they just looked like they were up to no good, as most boys around that age do, right? And so they looked like they were up to no good, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching them sort of like out the corner of my eye and seeing what they were up to, and they're whispering and all like and sniggering and all this sort of stuff. I was like, what are they doing? And so anyway, they go inside Kmart. In my mind, I don't know at the time, I was just like, they're definitely doing something not good. And so they go into Kmart, and then they come out all laughing and cheering and high-fiving and all the rest of it. And so between them, they were in their school clothes, by the way. They were dressed in their school clothes. Like I said, they were about 9 or 10. And they come out, and there's 3 kids who are carrying like cartons of soft drink, right? Cartons of soft drink. They must have had at least 100 cans between them. And I was like, what are they doing with these 100 cans? Anyway, so they unbox them out of the box, and they start shoving them in their backpack. And they're shoving them in their backpack, filling their backpacks up, and they've got these backpacks on, they're totally weighed down. And then I hear them start talking between themselves, and I'm like, okay, so the canteen sells these for, I think it was like $1.20, right? So the canteen sells these for $1.20. We've just bought all of these, and each can, when we bought them in these cartons, is only like 40 cents. So if we sell them for 80 cents, we make 40 cents on these, and then no one will buy them from the canteen because we're buying them, they can buy them from us cheaper. And so that's what we're going to do. And I was like, this is brilliant. This is totally brilliant. And so these kids have bought 100 cans, right? 40 cents a can on markup they're going to make on it. That's $40 divided by the 5 of them. They're each making like $8, right? So they've made $8, and if they do that each day, providing they can get rid of their product, then that's 80 5 days a week they're at school, so it's $40 each, right? A day. So per month, it's like close to $200, about $180 a month each, for doing what? Walking to Kmart on their way to work and getting some cans of Coke and having that entrepreneurship and idea. And I don't think for a second that they all had this brilliant idea together. Like, I think that one person probably had this idea, or maybe 2, but maybe probably 1, and then they all went along with it. But I guess the point of it was like, how did that kid learn that at 9 or 10? Is that just something that is totally and utterly like they're just born with it? Is that something that they just, it's nothing they've been taught. It's nothing that their parents have necessarily told them what to do or how to do it. It's just something that is part of them. They see an opportunity and they see, an area where they can make some money. And so the first option, I guess, is with the Caleb experience with the dad, and like also what Russell Brunson's doing with his kids now. Is like it's a learned skill. It's like you're rewarding your kids to learn about business and to learn about personal development, and through that learning, they're able to then develop themselves and maybe generate that spark. Like, that's not to say that Caleb didn't already have that spark, and it's not to say that Russell Brunson's kids don't have that spark. I mean, Russell Brunson's pretty entrepreneurial, so it would be, if it is genetic, like you would assume, be passed down to the kids. So that's not to say that, but is it also developed through a learned process? Whereas the other angle is like those kids at Kmart, is that just something where that kid just had that idea? And I know Warren Buffett started out like that as well. Like, Warren Buffett started off with a paper run, and then he started, like, I think he was selling golf balls. Like, he'd find golf balls that were lost, and then he'd go and sell them back to the golfers, right? And so, and he did that at a really, really, really young age. And so I guess that's the point. Like, but also I really want to investigate that, and I think about that, and I think, or is it just kids in general? Is it kids that are all kids entrepreneurial? Are all kids creative? Are all kids able to just like try things and look at opportunities and just do it? Whereas when we're adults, we're so jaded and we're so beaten by our experiences in the past that maybe haven't worked, or we built these false beliefs from people telling us that we're not good enough, or like, has adulthood killed our entrepreneurial spirit? And that's why so few adults now have that entrepreneurial spirit, not because they never had it to begin with, but just because of their false beliefs that are being embedded now, and because of their previous experience haven't worked, or maybe too many people telling them they can't do something. And if so, how do we find that entrepreneurial spirit back? Like, can we get it back if we just break down those false beliefs? And so I thought that was a really, really interesting concept and thing to think about, and whether or not we could all be amazing entrepreneurs if we actually just learn to rid ourselves of those false beliefs that have been pushed on us over the last 10, 20, 30 years, 40 years of our lives. And can we all be Caleb Maddox again? And can we all be those kids who sit outside Kmart and look at ways to make some money? That's really simple, but really cool. And so I guess that's the message for today, is to really identify, like, I want you guys to think about, what are your false beliefs? What are those things that cause you to doubt yourself? What are those things that cause you to second guess an opportunity? And they say everybody has a $1 million idea every single day. It's just like, what do you do with that $1 million idea that matters? And so I just want to give you some food for thought today. I thought that was a really, really cool story, and it's definitely something I'd love you guys to think about today after listening to this podcast, and see how much your mindset and how much your false beliefs are impacting your ability to be able to succeed and get yourself to that next stage and build yourself to that next level. So yeah, that's the message today, guys. Have a think about your false beliefs and try to work through them and try to build on your mindset and be positive and become a kid again. Be a kid again and see how much more success you have, because you don't have those doubts and that nagging thing in the back of your mind telling you can't do something. Hope that helps, guys. If you've loved this message today, please share. I'm still determined to get to 5,000 subscribers on YouTube by the end of 30 days. So subscribe to me on YouTube. If you're on YouTube right now, you can see me. I'm just holding up my gimbal really high and bringing it back down. I'm pretty obsessed with this thing at the moment. And and like it and share it with your friends. And I really love providing input and insights into my life and things that go through my mind. And so if you do like and subscribe it lets me know that you guys love it too. And it helps me to create more for you guys. So I hope you've enjoyed this today. Have an awesome day, and tune in tomorrow for episode number 48. Getting close to 50, which I'm excited for. Started this a couple of months ago, and now I can't believe we're up to episode 50 of the podcast. So this is the Billy Rickman Show and Billy Rickman, and thanks for tuning in today for episode number 40.